everyone, how's it going? Hope you loved our first video on the importance of brand positioning. Today we go a little further to where it all begins, your customer. What's your customer like? Do you really know him? What exactly does he want? And even if you figure all of this out, how do you validate it? We also learned two more things. One, that positioning isn't about yesterday or today or tomorrow. It's an ongoing thing. And two, every customer touch point is an experience for your brand. The more you're aware of your touch points, the more you're in control of that. Alright guys, enjoy the video, hit the like or share button, and don't forget to leave your comments in the section below.
This market is becoming more and more aware. We can no longer afford to, misrepresent things, which has traditionally been happening, especially in the consumer space, whether it's food, whether it's beauty, whether it's everyday items that we use. So we'll have to be very clear because this customer is very specific about what they now want.
So we run a survey, which is like a 4-question survey with mostly all our users who've used our app for almost a month, and we kind of see if there's something that we are targeting, and if they are able to see that clearly in their product as in our product as well, and if that is matching, then we know that we're doing it right. So there is definitely a 4-question short survey which kind of caters to, if unfound, for example, what is the main benefit that they're getting out of unfound. And we've clearly seen that the kind of people that we've been targeting as of now are seeing multiple viewpoints of the same story as the benefit that they're getting.
I think when you lay down your offerings very clearly, customers know whether to buy your product or your competitor's product, right? I think today consumer is extremely sharp. They understand what their needs are and which brand should they be associated with. And I think also that we are extremely, the level of critique is also rising. So we understand which brand is going to add value to my life and which isn't.
So there was a hypothesis that there is a gap in the market, and then there was validation. We could not go by a gut feeling here that that there is a particular gap in the market. There had to be some kind of market research that had to happen. There had to be some kind of mapping that had to happen, that where we can potentially stand, and then there had to be some kind of validation.
There was set of hypotheses based on which we built. In fact, our first product was a Facebook Messenger bot. And we wanted to just see if people are willing to read different sites, right? That was the first validation that we did. After that, it was when we went to Google Play Store, it was about certain taglines that we used. Would, for example, AI in the tagline being there make sense, right? We kind of then figured out people don't care if it is manual-led or AI-led. It is news for them, right? Then it came to, should we use real news or fake news and all of those as terms. People probably didn't even care about that so much. And now I think when we're using different viewpoints is something that a lot of our users get interested in. They say, they want to read different viewpoints. And that is something that we are now kind of moving towards.
I mean, I come from a design background, right? The fundamental of design is that you need to create things around the consumer. You got to create stuff which will make a consumer or a consumer's life easy. Otherwise, I'm not going to be associated with it. Even if it's a simple chair that I want to design, I want to make sure that my consumer, is able to sit perfectly, and that is the reason why he will go back to my, or come back to my brand. It's very important that you understand your target audience, because that is the reason. If you're able to understand their pain points, you know what kind of value addition that you're going to bring to the table.
and I've noticed this personally as well, that a lot of consumer companies don't really speak to their consumers. They're just there and the consumer is there, and they don't realize that there is a disconnect. Once you start speaking to a consumer, you realize you get feedback from them. Let's say on the internet, on the page that they're landing at, what are the words that you're using? How are you kind of approaching your consumer? Internally, we had to kind of make decisions as to how we are going to approach this, and externally, then we had to kind of improve our customer touch points. Even something like, for example, if we're getting something printed, right? What kind of materials are we going to print them on? Whether it's a matte finish, whether it's a glossy finish, are you kind of out there, or are you kind of subtle and very clean about your approach, very classy about your approach?
The touch points are everywhere. That is exactly the reason why I say that I like to call it an experience than a positioning. This is an experience. You as a customer experience the brand through external methods, and it is equally important for your employees to also feel that experience, from the brand. If I enter a Sephora brand, shop, when I get inside, how I'm treated, how I'm greeted, how am I taken through the entire experience of buying a Sephora? Because maybe for me, Sephora is an aspirational brand. The entire experience from entering the shop to actually making a purchase is my brand experience. And that is only possible if you're able to train your employees correctly.
So like I said that positioning does not happen on day one. It's like a continuous process, and it is definitely a continuous process that builds over time.
We've been able to reduce our Google ad cost fairly much because we've been positioning right. So in a lot of ways, it kind of benefits also the entire way of churning out and achieving number of customers. And when you start targeting and these are our users and they like these words and they want to kind of position, we have to kind of position ourselves according to them. There's a lot of benefit in the way as well. But at the same time, I think it was definitely some bit of hypothesis, a lot of experiments that now we're still experimenting. I'm not saying that we have achieved everything, but yes, we're still experimenting, but we know that, this is how users would like us to be positioned, or these are the terms that are relatable to the users.